Hello and good evening. For All Mankind, Season 3, Episode 6, titled New Eden, is over. But we're just getting started here on Live Long and Podcast as we continue our mission to watch every episode of For All Mankind and talk all about it. This is a live stream here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. You might be listening to us on audio version. And yes, it's one base, 3 crews, and a planet full of secrets. From the stolen meds to stolen data, the race to Mars is no longer about exploration. It's about survival, identity, and control. Now, here's the guy who's still trying to decide if Dev is building the future or just burning bridges in orbit. I'm your host, Dave Mader. And as I mentioned, Season 3, Episode 6, the 26th episode overall of For All Mankind, which first aired on July 15th, 2022, written by Stephanie Shannon and directed by Andrew Stanton. But we got a great panel here to break down this episode. Coming in first, our spiritual compass, weighing executive orders, Soviet paranoia, and the ethics of defection with quiet clarity. It's Kevin Millard.
Hello, Dave. How's it going?
Good, Kevin. How are you?
Good.
Welcome to the show. Glad to have you back. Coming in here next, he's our technologist who doesn't blink at sabotage or safe mode overrides. If the Phoenix can be hijacked, he's already diagramming it. It's Jody Simpson.
All right. Hello, Dave.
Hi, Jody. Welcome to the show.
I got a bit of a cold, so.
Oh, I won't ask. So don't tell. So,
okay.
No. Okay. All right. So then we're moving on here to our other panelist coming in here next from Ottawa to Happy Valley. He reads the mission like a chessboard, calm, strategic, and always 3 moves ahead of Baranov. It's Adam Woodward.
Hey, guys. Happy to be here tonight. Jeff, welcome back.
Thanks. I'm back.
Jeff is back. But before we get to Jeff, coming in next here, she's watching Danielle hold the line, Ed lose control, and Karen return to the chaos with COO swagger. Style meets steel. It's Heather Narduzzi.
That's right. Hello, everybody. I'm just making sure to represent for my do ask, do tell queer family.
Yes. Well, glad to have you back, Heather, and glad to have Bob Seeger's bum with us.
It's actually again. Extreme Luigi's bum.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm mixing my cats up here.
Can you not identify cat bums, Dave?
I'm working on it.
How dare you?
I'm working. It's a work in progress here.
He's still scarred from cats.
I'm still. Who
We
is
all
it?
are. We all are.
Yes, it was a masterpiece.
He's still looking for the buttholes.
Yes. And with that segue, he's tracking the echoes of Apollo through Helios's collapse and NASA's political pivots. If the new era is too soft, he's already nostalgic for the hard edges. It's Jeff Mader.
Oh, no, Elena comment this week.
Well, we'll get to it later. I didn't work her into your intro.
She's barely in this intro.
She's sending angry D-mail attachments, Jeff, to Danielle about Soviets. So
I like when she goes rogue and doesn't listen to Margot, personally.
That's every
That's pretty much, yeah, like Margot, and I guess whoever the new like NASA administrator is, this guy who we see a couple times in the episode, but I don't even know if they give him a name, and he's very, I don't know, he's just kind of Mr. Angry and whatever. I think he's the guy who comes in to tell Margot about the news about the character who's coming out.
Will.
He's Will putting on the TV there. And you see him later on with Elena. But yes, so spoilers, of course, if you've not seen For All Mankind up until this point, we were going to be talking all about it here. As the Soviets and Americans have this uneasy alliance here at the Happy Valley base. We saw the end of the last episode, Danielle and is it Kunetsov, right? The Soviet commander, they kind of tied for first person on the moon, or Mars rather.
Not to hear them tell it. They both claim that they landed first, which I thought was a really fun way to do that.
It kind of reminded me of the Royal Rumble in 1994 when Lex Luger and Bret Hart both went over the top rope at the same time and their feet hit the floor at the same time. If anyone
that is exactly what they were referencing.
I was thinking that the whole time.
They planned to do that. That was a work.
Well, ironically, it's around the same time. It's around 1994. But I digress. Anyway, so let's get into this episode. I know Adam had some thoughts. I'm going to start with Adam tonight. Did you enjoy this episode?
What up? This is season 3, episode 6. So I would get, like, honestly, guys, this has been a great season so far, and I didn't enjoy tonight's episode at all. Like, they went political, they went into history that I don't like about us and still don't like. Now I get the story needs to be told. It made me uneasy tonight. I just don't, when you know characters, you know Ellen, you know her past, and I can't remember her husband there. What's his name?
Larry.
And he's being sloppy. Like, it's just like it's a mess coming up. I can see this is now we've been going down one path and now we're pulling over into another freaking storyline, which I don't enjoy as much.
Yeah, so Larry, as the end of the episode alludes to, has been having a romantic affair with his assistant, I guess, who a staffer of some kind. As the first gentleman, he would have, of course, a staff, and I guess one of those people he's having sex with. So that kind of gets revealed to a reporter at the very end of the episode, who is going to break the story.
And then you've got the whole Helios, Soviet Union stuff going on. Like, it's just ugly. It's an ugly episode.
It's an ugly episode. Now, the don't ask, don't tell of things, and like the conception in this episode that in this timeline, Ellen Wilson is the president instead of Bill Clinton, but basically employs the same kind of you can call it a political compromise, I suppose, of the military policy that went into effect at that time, the don't ask, don't tell, that eventually, I guess that policy doesn't exist at all now. But
is this show telling us that Bill Clinton was gay?
I don't think so. No,
Okay.
I don't
He
think
might have
that's...
been bi, but he definitely wasn't gay.
Fair enough. That is true.
No, well, Bill Clinton being on the Democrat side, I guess, the idea was that the conservative Republicans would be very much against any kind of acceptance of gay people in the military, whereas the Democrats were pushing for it. But I don't even know if they were at this time in the 1990s. Or maybe some of the caucus was, maybe like a Bernie Sanders was, but I don't know if that was necessarily the case. I'd be interested. Huh?
Not a Democrat.
Technically not a Democrat anyway. So, but I'm sure there were other progressives at the time who perhaps were advocating for such things. But
Like Joe Biden.
I'm ready to talk about it a little later.
Like Joe Lieberman. Joe Lieberman gets mentioned in this
Yes,
episode.
he does get mentioned in this episode.
Yeah. So the politics of it all. I think as someone who grew up in the 90s, like I found this kind of interesting just to kind of hear all these conversations, because a lot of this went over my head at the time, as a kid. So anyway, let's move around. Heather, I'd like to move to you next and get your reaction to the episode.
I didn't find it as good as the other episodes this season, but that's only because it was a lot of dialogue and a lot of politics and less like Mars exploring and more setup. But it was also upsetting. It was hard to watch. It was, as Adam said, knowing Ellen's backstory and her making these decisions and further selling herself out, even though at the time, I suppose don't ask, don't tell could be considered like a step forward for progressive rights. It was still not great. And also the defector dog being terrified of getting AIDS from Will, that was upsetting, but a very real thing that a lot of queer folks face. All queer folks faced at that time. And
Sure.
it was a good episode in terms of writing and performances. I really enjoyed it, but the subject matter was upsetting for sure.
Yeah, well, I think that's sometimes the case with history, and like
that's it. It's not all nice, right?
It's not
but
all
I think
nice,
it's important, and I'm glad that the show addresses those things because they really did happen. Whether they did happen on Mars or they happened on Earth, they still happened, and it was so gross.
Yeah,
I want you to understand, I'm not unhappy with the subject matter.
No,
I
of
just
course.
don't like the path. Like, I really enjoyed the first 5 episodes. It had nothing to do with all this. Just, it was a great story, and now we are diverting.
So do you? I guess, Adam, would you rather the writers not have brought this kind of plot line into the story?
I don't listen. I'd like everybody else to go first. Let's start.
All right.
Because I do have an opinion on that.
Okay. Okay. Well, Jeff, since you're on this bottom row, I will move over to you next here.
I kind of disagree with all of you. I think this was a great episode because of kind of everything you guys said. And ironically enough, sometimes you have to have episodes that deal with hard subjects. Sometimes you need to make your characters uncomfortable, and I think this episode did that perfectly. Like, it makes you actually understand their struggle and like the impossible situations that a lot of these characters are in, especially the president, especially people on Mars. Like, these are not normal situations, like for regular people. So, and that's what kind of why, like is it Tyler? Sorry, is that his name?
Will Tyler.
Will Tyler, yeah.
Tyler.
Why Will Tyler? Like, that's why he comes out. Like, he kind of gets to a point. He's like, this isn't a normal situation that I am in right now, and I can't just fake who I am anymore. Like, that's kind of, he comes to an existential crisis, and I think this is important, and it kind of gets reflected on all the characters, especially the president. But unfortunately, I feel like she chooses the wrong path, and she knows better. And
Well,
she kind of
she
listens
does ask
to Larry.
Larry. Yeah, she goes, "What's the point? Like, we're in the White House, and we can't like affect like at least this major issue that they both clearly care about and have this investment in, but they've kind of erased that part of their identity publicly, and therefore they're trying to walk this political tightrope, trying to because they're Republicans on top of it all, and and they have this super conservative religious base behind them that got them. And if they want to, and she's looking for a second term is the other thing, I guess. All presidents want to think about their legacy and their egos.
And this is what I find, and I understand all that, but you really throw away who you are when you go into that office. Or probably any political office.
It's not just that office. What I get from this episode is that people are true to their own class and power before anything else.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter. Larry is ready to throw every queer person under the bus for his own satisfaction, and his own power and his own success. It doesn't matter. And that is what most people are true to, their own power, their own class, nothing else really
their own
matters
safety,
Exactly.
things.
And
like
Ellen
that.
is the same. Ellen is the same. She may cry, but she doesn't do anything.
If she were going to be true to who she was, that would have been the perfect time for her to be like, guess what? I'm gay too, y'all.
And I'm the fucking president. So.
Yeah. So how do you like that?
And we still haven't heard from Jody. I get it, but every now and then they bring another, like a truism and like a real piece of history into the show, and it's just very interesting how they play it. And I also thought it was very interesting. The communists are in bed with the capitalists. Like that is great too. Like,
They're split the water.
Oh, yeah.
My other favorite conversation in this episode is actually between Danielle and Tyler, where she was like, "I get it," and he's like, "You don't get it," and like this kind of, I guess.
And she's like, "Bitch, please, I get it."
Right.
Up until all of that, this episode was about shitty fucking leadership. She is awful in a leadership role, and so is Ed in this episode.
What about the Soviet guy?
Horrible. Soviet guy's the only leader. She needs to smack him the fuck down immediately as soon as he said anything to her.
Do not
You
order
are
my crew around.
in command here. Yeah.
Don't tell my crew what to do.
The one thing that I think she didn't point out to Will Tyler was the fact she's also a black woman, and
No, she does point that out to him.
She points out she's black, not a woman.
She didn't say woman, and I think
True.
throws a whole new layer on.
And he
it
goes,
that
being
you can
black's
never
not being the
understand.
same as being gay, and as being neither. I can't. I'm not qualified to say either way, but it was an interesting dynamic, I thought. And then she's like, "Go fix the thing, whatever it was."
Which is how she should have treated the Russian commander rather than Will Tyler. Like she just got it totally backwards.
Right.
I personally think, and this is she kind of repeats the sin of Deke, which gets brought up in this episode, where she's more worried about NASA and she's more worried about command and how it's going to look and all this kind of stuff. At the end of the day, she should be backing up her crew. That crew is her crew, and this is a personal matter. This has nothing to do with the operation. Like, I get her being upset about that, like where like he is focused on his own head, but like that's, again, like I said, they're on Mars. Like, this, people are gonna have these thoughts, and it's your job as a leader to like get everyone on the right track, but also you have to have these conversations. Like, you have
But
to.
she's lost control of this crew. Like,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
By the end of it, she's yelling at everyone,
She never
pounding the
had any
vodka.
control of the crew.
No, she
That is-
did. She's been good up until this episode, I thought.
Two
No,
of them are
but-
banging, but we'll
Since
get
they've
to
been on
that.
the planet, Kevin, she's lost control.
Yeah. Fraternization, fear of things.
Oh, God.
homo-
People have been trying to stop fraternization since fraternization existed. It's not
Right.
going to happen.
No, you're not going to stop that.
People going to fuck. That's
But you know what?
It's going to happen.
Does this mean that Danny, that was her name, not Danny, Kelly is going to get pregnant?
I can't tell you. So, okay, let's go to Jody next.
Oh,
Jody, you've heard a lot said already. Your reaction to the episode and to everything else.
I think Jeff and Kevin probably have hit the same mark that I have, which is this episode is about two things. It's about people selling out their values, and it's about people not doing good leadership. That's all this is. And it's the the don't ask, don't tell thing. Yes, I understand that, Ellen has this, moral dilemma, but she really doesn't fight it that hard. Like, it's not where I think that she should have been as a character, and I've actually lost respect for the character now because of the fact that she's going with all this. So it's like, I don't know. It's
Maybe she
and
lost
even though
that-
yes, she doesn't agree to it, and I totally get that, but you're still the most powerful person on the planet right now, at least in this timeline. So with that, you know what? You could turn things around if you want to. But you know
But
what?
the jobs
Her second
bill,
term
Jody.
was more important.
What about the
then-
jobs bill and the
Yeah.
second term? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
whatever.
Right?
I
Like,
don't
Yeah, no, it's
think
the second
that
term.
she even had that much of a dilemma. Like you say, she's like, okay, let's do this. Great. And then she
Yeah.
feels sad for a minute while she's
Yeah.
watching Will on TV.
She's a sellout,
and then that's
and
it.
that's just how it is. And the same thing as Jeff said, which was the leadership problem. Yeah, there's a big leadership problem going on here, and literally
we should
the
promote
Russian guy is
Danny.
probably the only one that actually knows what he's doing.
is Danny Stevens right for command?
God.
He
No,
is Jack Torrance. It's going to happen, man.
yeah, that dude is red running the entire place. Like
Mm.
this is when it comes to what Adam said about how this being a downer episode. Yeah, it is. Is it an episode that's necessary to fish out these characters better?
Mhm.
I think so. I
think
think we
it's-
do
I think
need
it's-
to know that Ellen is going to eventually get into power, which she did. And what ended up happening is now she's just selling out for making sure she has a job. And her stupid fake husband is the same thing.
But
Well-
she's already sold out. She sold it all the way along. Okay.
Oh,
honestly.
she's been selling out ever since she got into being president, and even before
no,
that.
no. She sold out when she got into NASA.
Yeah,
And-
sure. Yeah.
And her fake relationship with Larry and joining the Republican Party, really, like on and on. Like,
Well, she comes from a wealthy family too. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, who are you? What are her values actually? Like,
She
I'm
likes
not sure.
NASA.
why did
She
she
likes-
even want to be president? Because she was good at it. Like, why did she choose the job of even going for president?
Well, I
over
think she
love?
said back in the second
know?
season when she was running that, she wanted to make change in the world and all that, the typical crap to get into office, right? And then, all of a
I
sudden.
think
it goes
that they
back to
actually believe that until they're there.
Well, I think that's the whole point of her character, is that it shows you how corrupt politics is.
Mhm.
It gets you to a point where she is a closeted gay woman that is the leader of a coalition of a bunch of religious bigots that come into her office and tell her how things have to be, and she listens, and she doesn't fight back. And this is just kind of what the whole problem with politics and kind of what Kevin was getting at is that when you're in a class, you go with your class.
Yeah.
You go with your group.
She's very self-serving, and in this case, she's not even self-serving herself.
But I think at the same time, in defense of her, she's also looking at her vice president and go, I cannot have a guy like him running the country. You know,
So if she was forced to resign or impeached or anything like that,
like, I mean, while Don't Ask, Don't Tell wasn't, we'll talk more about it, I'm sure, but it was still, like, as Heather said, it was a step up from what it was. You weren't fired.
Just remember, this is a better world now, according to this, because this world has much better technology. We've now hit Mars already in the 90s.
Well, this is why sometimes
so they should be advancing, but yet we're going.
Are you
We're
equating
doing
like
the exact same things
technological advancement with like social advancement or like progressive? Because I don't know if they're
they all
necessarily...
should coincide, but they don't. Not in this show.
Well, I guess it depends on what, if you consider there's a correlation there, or a causation like that. If we have cell phones, are people more progressive and liberal? Not necessarily. Like if we have the internet, are we more progressive and liberal? Or
if you look at the world today, I mean,
it's
going.
Look,
we
we
were
are
for a little bit, and then we
took like 5 steps, maybe more backwards. In some ways, it feels like. Anyway, I know we're going around, and this is great discussion, but I do want to talk about the episode, and I want to get into the first thing here about Sojourner. Okay, yeah, they got onto the planet first, and we had this whole thing about who made it to Mars first. Fine, it was Sojourner.
We're back to this again, are we?
Okay,
they landed on the planet, Dave.
They landed, and they destroyed their ship in the process. That it can't even take off anymore. So. Okay, yeah, we're the first, but if now you've crippled yourself and you can't even fly home, you're stranded now on Mars.
So what? Still first.
This is like
you're
crashing
calling
into a
first, Dave. You were calling first when you hit the atmosphere, and now you've got all these conditions.
I got conditions.
You have to be able to leave.
I got conditions.
Dave, this is wildly inconsistent.
Dave, I don't agree with your conditions at all.
I know. None of you agree with me, but it's fine.
This is honestly a ridiculous argument.
Sojourner. Well, they made it first, Adam, but they can't even fly home, so they need Helios.
They don't need to. They got Ed. Ed's going to save the day for
Yeah, well, since good things Ed's there to save their ass, and Helios, for that matter. Anyway, they had to walk from their ship to wherever the landing materials are, which are, she says 3 clicks. I'm assuming she means 3 kilometers. Which I guess in these suits would probably take probably half an hour or so.
Can I ask a question? Go back to the slide there. Why are all the NOSA outfits have the hinge things on them, but yet they don't attach to anything?
Hinge things?
You mean
the ring on the bottom?
Do you mean like the waist?
Yeah.
Oh, I see it.
Because, when they do that, it's supposed to interlock, right? So what the hell is it interlocking to?
They're wearing mismatched tops and bottoms for the spring season on Mars.
Ah, gotcha. All right. Makes sense.
I was more
maybe before Labor Day.
I couldn't help but think about like the difference between the Soviet helmet and the NASA helmet, and then like how much more I'd rather have the Soviet suit. Just like the American one has just got this huge.
Yeah, you got to admit the lights on the American one that you'd be able to see farther.
Sure. I guess they're probably better on the moon, but here on Mars, it seems like you might rather have the Soviet version. Anyway, they're making their way over. They're walking, making their pilgrimage to the base. With
an IKEA cart.
An IKEA cart, as you would. Now, she says, tonight the temperature is going down to a balmy -100°C, so we better get to the base. That's chilly. As we see, the Popeye from Helios's Phoenix ship is coming down as well, not making it to Mars first. That was Sojourner when they crashed into the ground. So now Ed has made it down. Ed is still, thinking about the fact he could have been the first man to land on Mars, not just touch the atmosphere. But
not much impresses Ed.
He's a little melancholy here.
When they have this cart, why didn't they use that for the bigger crate instead of having 2 people carrying it?
Why aren't you there to run the moving?
You know what? I could have been a better commander.
I think so. Anyway, they make their way, I guess, to Happy Valley, which is where they were headed, and we see all the the buildings and stuff have already been landed here by NASA in advance, as Leda had figured out how to do earlier in the season. Meanwhile, Ed is doing his duty by planting the flag of the proud Helios Corporation.
I
seems
love
like
this.
so
The look
underwhelming.
on his face is so awesome.
Yeah, him and Daddy planted that
They're like,
flag.
yay, we're second.
I don't.
I love that.
I don't see this as that far fetched. I won't be surprised in the next 5 or 10 years with maybe not Mars, but like Tesla doing something like this. Ah, that Tesla flag, you know. Like,
Well, yeah, I think it's not far fetched by at all, but
A Mars message in the next 10 years is not unobtainable.
but coming from Ed, who's Mr.
It's
Patriot,
possible.
Mr. America, I think he's feeling a little,
Yeah.
less than satisfied with this whole thing. Whereas
He's like, I
Danny's
just put a corporate flag on the Mars. Yay.
right. I still think they have the best spacesuits, but anyway, moving
Yeah,
on.
if this was the 70s, maybe.
Yeah, if you're going in the ocean, like these.
Okay,
it
fine.
looks like they can't move their arms. Like they're
He
just
can't. These are wildly impractical.
right.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I like when he went to go hug Danny, and she just like can't even get her arms anywhere near around him.
Yeah. Might be an inside joke there. Meanwhile, the Soviets and the Americans are planting their flag or raising their flag at their base with salutes all around. The Soviet flag beneath the American flag. I'm surprised they agreed to such things. But
Yeah, there should have been no Soviet flag there at all.
yeah, I agree.
I was waiting
This
for
is-
you come back and then you see the American underneath because one of the Soviets moved it.
Yeah, that's the type of thing.
Yeah.
They'll be like, no, we demand equal representation of our flag.
The one thing I did like, though, was the contrast between the two HABs. Because the HABs for Helios are actually mobile, which is a very cool thing. Whereas, the American HABs are just, they're all pods that they have to
They're
push
not meant to
together.
leave ever. Yeah.
Yeah, they stay where they are. They're permanent.
Then, as they're about to head into the base, our good man here, Tyler, looking out on the Martian frontier and desert and getting this existential change in him, this inspiration that will come with his great, coming out later on in the episode. So,
Now, did anybody else get the feeling that when it cuts to Tyler, it shows his feet first on the ground? And to me, that was a callback to the very end, the teaser at the end of last season, where you just see the foot, the space-suited foot.
Oh,
step
so you're
onto
thinking
Mars.
he's the one.
Yeah.
Oh,
To
okay.
me, that was a callback to that.
I think
Never
you're right,
even thought of
but
that.
I didn't think about that until you just mentioned all that. So yeah, thanks
Good
for
catch.
putting that together here. Because we know it wasn't Danny Poole and Kuznetsov there because they kind of landed more.
No,
face
because they
first.
went face first.
First face on Mars,
Yeah.
or faces, I suppose. And that is our teaser for the episode, New Eden, as we head into our credits. And coming out of that, we then get a lot of this news footage from Eagle News, the Fox News of this timeline, as they're kind of breaking down the story here. We got the Bill O'Reilly stand-in, or Newt Gingrich. I'm not really sure, but maybe
It's like a hybrid.
Biggest bill.
Let's call him Bill Gingrich.
Yeah. It's talking about, we're calling it a tie, first one to Mars, but it was an American ship, so I call it in our corner. I'm like, fine. It's
Yeah, same things are just absolutely on point to what we are in reality.
yeah, we've come so far. Anyway, the news footage also talks about how looking for water is a huge priority for all of the crews here. That's why they picked this particular landing site, because there's potential of water under the surface here. That's
What
why
happens
they-
if there isn't?
I don't know, exactly.
Everyone
They all
dies.
die.
Everyone dies.
Yeah, like it seems like NASA and
Yeah,
the
they got
Soviets-
water recyclers and stuff. I get that.
It seems like the Helios is more self-sufficient, and they were, but they just went for it. They're like, and if everyone dies, everyone dies. We can't let this company beat us to Mars. So that's
Listen, Matt Damon made water on Mars as though anybody else can.
Yeah, he also grew potatoes and shit. That doesn't mean
yes. And, well, he was a botanist. Anyway,
I
we
love
see here,
these HABs though. These are such a good
yeah,
idea.
these are the the Helios Habs and their rovers coming out of their landers here. And
That's a brilliant idea, though, because what happens if you want to move to another site? You don't relaunch more pods and move over. You just move your damn pod.
Yeah, so it's all about the search for the water here. NASA assembles their little habitat, much more modest than Jamestown is at this stage, of course.
Yeah, but Jamestown was also little. Jamestown was like two pods.
Jamestown, they expanded that over time, right? Which is presumably that's kind of the plan here on Mars. As we're heading in here, and then we're getting like all the bios on the crew, like they're we're meeting the different astronauts and cosmonauts, them trying to not just find water but grow their own food, get their air going, their CO2 scrubbers, their recycling of things like that, and so it's a whole thing. And the crews, they're getting along so well. Then we cut away and we see all the cosmonauts and astronauts kind of complaining to each other. The Soviets not happy with the American accommodations, and Kelly saying, "Why don't you go back to your own base?" Oh yeah, it's in space since we saved your ass and everything else.
Some of the dialogue they give Kelly is absolutely terrible.
Yes.
But though, like this is where I was actually pretty hopeful about this episode at the beginning, because I did like Will's. He's getting it. He understands the gravity of being here, and
yeah, he's like, "Come on, everyone, it's an adventure. Let's go."
Right.
And
everybody else just goes back to their, I'm uncomfortable, blah blah blah.
We'll be singing "We Are the World" soon, right, Tyler? That was kind of a funny one. Then we got Danielle, who's trying to lead the mission of this blended crew here. So she's kind of giving out assignments. She has to talk about the water rationing, half a gallon per astronaut per day, including all sanitation, all drinking, all everything like that.
That is not very much.
No,
water.
it is not. No. The BO alone will be quite something here.
Especially Russian BO.
Well, the vodka.
Yeah.
And this is where Mr. Kuznetsov, he's like, do not give orders to my crew. You give orders.
And her answer should have been, "I'm the commander of this base,
Yeah.
and I'll give orders to whoever I fucking feel like."
Yeah,
But she didn't do that.
you're a visitor, pal. I hate to break it.
Yeah.
Just like the way he's got his arms crossed, the look he's giving her. That's,
Yeah, like the fact that he's just even going against her right now is just ridiculous.
Yeah, he's only living, breathing air because they saved him.
So blow him out the airlock, make an example of him, and then ask the rest of them what you want to do.
God damn
That's
right.
why
There you
if I had
go.
to go to space, I would
See?
take Heather.
See, I
Heather
would be
would
an
do good on the
amazing
moon
commander.
or on Mars.
Now we got a great episode.
This base was
I
designed
would totally
for
bring Heather to space.
6 astronauts, and there are now 8 people total. So
I might not. I don't want to go out a fucking airlock.
Yeah.
Well, I
Well,
would try to
don't
be nice.
cross me, Kevin.
Just let her boss everybody. It's fine.
Meanwhile, we see here Tyler and Defector Dog Guy. They're such good buddies at this stage. Just before Tyler's coming out, we just kind of established these two are friends in previous episodes. Bunkmates, sharing bunks, have slapping high fives, all kinds of things. That will change. We'll come back to that. Then back at the base, we pan over. We find out we go to Helios's base, which is some distance away, but not like that far, like walkable or drivable.
3 kilometers.
3 kilometers. Helios's base, and we find Ed is giving a video message here to Karen, which of course is being watched by Mr. Creepo, Danny Stevens.
I thought that was great, even though we all knew as it panned it was going to be Danny watching it, not Karen. But they did it so slowly and so eerily that when we see Danny looking like, Jack
Tiny
Torrance.
bit off topic, but does anybody remember Danny's wife's name?
Amber.
Amber. Yeah.
Amber. Okay.
Yeah. He doesn't remember it, but
No, Danny doesn't.
No, he doesn't know.
But we also hear Ed in this dialogue talking about the reason he didn't make the landing. He was afraid of getting Danny killed, thinking of him like a son. Danny does not react to these words from Ed in a warm way, I would say. Anyway, then we go to the Helios base where Danny's trying to work this drill thing here on Mars. Gets drilled down and it gets stuck here. And so Danny decides
Where's
to put
Bruce Willis when you need him?
Yeah. They don't know damn about drilling. How hard can it be? You point the drill at the ground and you turn it on. But he tries to like put his hand here beneath the drill bit, which
Ugh.
Well, I think he's trying to take the sample out. So he's
the
bringing the
sample.
drill up and he's trying to hold the sample so it doesn't fall down.
he punctures his suit here and his hand, for that matter, with that in the act of doing so. And I recently read this thing like any exposure to the atmosphere of Mars could be very deadly. So she gets him like the other Helios member who says, cover that right away and get inside as soon as you can. As he's given painkillers here to help treat the pain by the medical officer guy, who was also like the weatherman in the previous episode.
The pain of the tiny cut in his hand.
Oh, yeah, it's literally Tylenol 3s.
Yeah,
acetaminophen,
Just
right?
acetaminophen
With codeine.
With
codeine, though.
Yeah.
For a cut in your hand?
Yeah, it didn't look that bad.
Well, to get rid of the
Yeah,
pain.
no, normally you would just spit on it and you'd be done with it. It's
Yeah.
like,
Or rub some
you
dirt
don't
in
need
it.
drugs
Like,
for that.
geez.
Yeah.
Rub some Mars dirt in there. You'll be fine.
Harmon given to the news, but technically Danny's supposed to be swapped out of active duty here on Mars for any kind of medical thing. That's the protocol. Ed comes in to check him. Ed, being kind of a concerned father-like figure here. We see Danny also pocketing pills in the act here, as he's an addict, alcohol, but other drugs, it would seem, as well. As Ed
Sadly, I think that's the least of his problems.
Ed asks him, "Hey, did you work the drill like you were supposed to?" And he's like, "Shut up, Ed. I know what I'm doing. I don't need you to watch me.
You're not my real dad.
You're
and
not
he
my
just
real
storms
dad.
away.
Yeah.
Again, another total failure of leadership. You never let that motherfucker leave the room. He just disrespected you in front of other crew.
Yeah. And Ed knows better. He's like,
Ed's like, but he's my somewhat adopted son.
Ooh,
Ed's got a soft spot.
You sleep
for
with
his
my
nephew.
wife.
Yeah.
don't forget
And
about
it
his
causes
ex-wife.
him to make-
and all this.
It causes him to make all sorts of bad decisions.
Mhm.
So Ed's a little miffed by that conversation, but I think he is projecting Shane onto Danny largely.
Oh yeah.
What? He would have yelled at Shane.
Right.
Yeah, he would have told him to get off of his fucking bike and bring back those things.
Yeah, you've disgraced this family.
And then break a phone over his fucking head. That's what he would have done.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, back on Earth, we get General Nelson's back, everyone. We didn't know where he was, but apparently he's the chairman of the Joint Chiefs now, and he's talking to Margot about Margot trying to get asylum for
Ugh, Margot.
A defector. Wink.
a
wink.
defector. She doesn't say Sergey, but it's Sergey, and he's like, I'm going to have to run it up the flagpole. And she's like, you are the top of the flagpole. Well, not quite. I answer to the president, so you got to tell me what this is all about. And
Did you see how giddy he got when she brings up Black Ops? He's like, Black Ops? He's like, I love
He's
Black
part
Ops.
of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, dude. He's like a fourth level general. Like,
It's
the
like-
guy is- the guy's itching for warfare at this point.
He
I think
is
Jeff's
the chief
spot on.
of staff. He's not part. He is the chief of staff.
he's the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Yes.
yes.
Yeah, the JCOS is a group of generals that run everything.
Right, but
He got
he's
so
like
horny, like you could
is.
see it. Like he got so excited. And,
Oh, yeah. He had a big war boner going on there.
yeah. And I was like, that is so true to life.
Right. Anyway, so Margot also offers like funding for his like fighter pilot program or something as a kind
Yeah,
of a
so
bribe.
much for not stripping off NASA assets and funding for the war machine. Margot's like, get me my Russian boyfriend here and I'll give you some NASA money, babe. Let's go. Black
I wonder if
Ops.
she's
Woo!
drinking a White Russian.
I love the fact that she can make these deals. Like what the actual?
There's no committee.
No, it's just Margot.
No, she's the committee.
Anyway.
Wow.
Committee was just put in place to repeat what she wants done.
Meanwhile, Aleda, very suspicious of Sergei and all Russians who are here at NASA, trying to steal her nuclear engine designs and steal all of the patents. She's looking at all Russians.
Taking our jobs.
This Russian, that Russian, these KGB guys, they're Cyrillic writing. What are they stealing next? She's wondering. KGB guys in the leather jackets.
I do like the thugs in the leather jackets, though. Those guys are amazing.
Yeah, they don't have much to do most of the time, but yeah, they're present.
They stand around and represent thugging.
Thugs. They're nice Russian boys.
They're nice Russian boys. I like how they dress them all in black all the time just to make them more scary.
They just have a job.
Yeah, we have
It's their
job.
You have job. You don't need to know what it is.
Yeah.
Then back at Helios here on Earth, we got Karen walking into, I guess it looks like a board meeting of Helios, and Dev walks out of the board meeting.
Dev's throwing a tantrum. What a surprise.
Yeah, so he goes outside. Karen, if you recall, she resigned from Helios in the previous
Why is she
episode.
here?
Well, she's here to talk to Dev.
Oh, she's probably selling out like everybody else in this cast.
She
That's
realized
just-
she said goodbye to a huge paycheck, and okay, I gotta get back in.
She's like, oh, wait a second. How do I pay for this pool I don't use?
Yeah. So she said she wants to come back in here. I don't really understand what changed her mind, other than I guess the conversation with Wayne in the previous episode, where she's like, "I love negotiating. I like being in that position." So I think she just wants that back more than she.
Karen wants control. She wants power.
I love this conversation though. She's the only leader in this fucking episode.
That's right.
I love this conversation, which she's like, I want to be COO, right? And he's like,
And
we
an
don't
office.
do titles, and we don't do. But she's like, or he's like, we don't do titles. He's like, and she was just like, yeah, that you just do that to keep everybody below you.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, that's an amazing line.
This character seems so familiar, but I don't know why.
He's from X-Men.
The
No, I
actor?
meant the
The
character.
actor. Oh, the character.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's kind of based on a few people, like a few different entrepreneurs and whatever. But anyway, so then what's going on? Oh, more of this video footage. This is where this will lead into the Tyler revelation. Oh, we also find out one of the cosmonauts is not actually Russian at all, but is a Cuban. Which I guess could make sense that the Cubans, I don't think they have much of a space program in our timeline, but they could, in this one, I guess
It's all them communist countries. They all gathered together.
Yeah.
For their hatred of America, let us band together.
Yeah.
And do deals with them.
Right. So they're moving around all the crew. This is where like Danny's like, Danielle Poole's like, I was the first person on Mars, and Commander Kuznetsov here's like, and then we opened the hatch, and then we both landed face first into Martian rocks. Kelly's giving her interview, and then her boyfriend there, the cosmonaut, says, in Russia, answers to interview questions are given in advance. She's like, what if you don't answer the right answer? And he goes, oh.
And
boom.
he does this and puts a pretend bullet in her head, and she's like, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Girl, that's terrifying.
She's Vietnamese. She knows. You
Yes.
should know.
That's a very good point.
Heather, it's the 90s. They didn't
This
know.
is just foreplay for her.
Yeah, I think it might be. Anyway, and so boom, I was on ground first. And then we see as Tyler is giving his like little like what it's like on Mars and everything else. You can see he has like this existential crisis, I guess you could
So
say.
I have a question. They're recording this, and then they're sending it to NASA or whoever, and then they're
Yes.
broadcasting it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we were told recently that there was like a 5-minute or 5.5-minute delay or something like that on video.
Yeah.
Which is probably a little bit more on Mars. But anyway, you're telling me that they just literally take whatever feed shows up and throw it directly live on TV. There's no 10-minute window. There's no, like, this makes no sense.
Well,
It
I guess
doesn't make sense because anything like they would have to, censor it just for
it would have to
the
be cleared.
secrets, right?
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
Because there's other governments that are also wanting to go onto Mars. It's not just these guys.
Yeah,
Like,
presumably any
China
of
might
this,
be doing their own space
this stuff would have
program,
had to
this
gone
would-
through NASA and or the Soviet program before it went to
Yeah,
the
so
media.
who let it go
But
through to get on air to be
It's
able
a
to...
TV show. We're not supposed to think.
The
too much.
people who wrote the story let it go through.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Because he gives this revelation. We don't see it on video there, but then all of a sudden Margot is in her office playing piano when the person from President Wilson's administration comes in here, the director. He's like, I can't believe it, and it says NASA astronaut comes out, Tyler, and then he says, oh, it's worse. He's active military. right?
Keep in mind, this is the director of NASA. Doesn't know what an astronaut said.
Right.
Wouldn't she be there for that?
Well, in this version of things, the media got the stuff before NASA did. We see all the
Maybe
headlines
there's a mole
here
or something. I don't know.
on various
Now,
newspapers.
Is it possible, because it's Kelly's Russian boyfriend who's doing the filming, is it possible that this came out in the Russian media first and the Americans didn't have access to it first?
Possible. That's
Maybe.
That's
a good
like
theory.
Because
an
we do see
in-story reason why it might happen that way.
We do see a Soviet newspaper there, and we don't know if it came out before or after, but maybe they broke the story first, for all we know. And so
We need that enhance feature from like CSI.
Yeah.
Where we can
Yeah.
like look at
Computer
things.
enhanced.
Oh, we'd have to be able to read Cyrillic. Anyway, so President Wilson and Larry are reading all the headlines. They're shocked by this whole thing. Then her vice president shows up along with General Nelson from the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And
the vice president is heated about this and gets really mad about the gays, which tells me he's getting blowjobs in bathrooms.
Oh,
There is a reason that Grindr goes down every time the Republican convention is in town.
Yep.
Yes,
That's a
sir.
proven fact, too.
Fact. Absolutely.
There's
Yeah.
a lot
Same
of
reason why
rumors
and they also have a pizza tracker for the White House as well.
yeah,
You
but
know,
I
there's
did.
issues
I
going
did.
on.
Like just coming back, just trying to put ourselves back in this time, and so 1995, I'm 12 years old. But when he said this line here about like 75% of the country thinks that homosexuality is wrong, I was like, yeah, like that's what they thought back then. Like that's where the country was, and that's where not obviously 25% of people did not think that at the time, and that number has changed dramatically today, although probably not as much as it should.
Should be better.
A lot of those numbers are made up. Like, let's be real. Have you ever been polled, asked what you actually thought about any of this stuff? It's just made up stuff. You know?
No, but I've been a queer person since I always knew, and I didn't tell anybody until I was like well into my late teens, early 20s, because I felt that 75% of people were not okay with it.
Well, right.
I know it's not exact statistics, but truly that it was the feeling of the world at that time.
For sure. I know I'm not discounting that. I'm just saying when they say 75% of the country thinks this, I don't think that's true.
That's a hard fact.
Yeah. Like that's for me. Like I just think a lot of that is like I think most people are pretty accepting. Like, you know,
you're a little younger
now,
than me, Jeff, and you don't
Right.
remember this year and this time quite the same way.
I'm
and
not
also,
like a Gen
this is
Zer.
like,
You know
this is
what I mean?
also coming this is in the early 90s, right? Like
Mid-90s.
the AIDS crisis, mid 90s. The AIDS crisis was full blown moral panic in the state.
Yes.
You know?
We were all terrified of AIDS. Like we were made to be terrified of AIDS.
Yeah.
in the
and it was
90s.
blamed on gay people.
Yes.
So that had a lot to do with people being against homosexuality because
But funny enough, mostly men though, which is even weirder.
Right. But also
It's blamed mostly on men.
let's face it, like a huge part of these polls and where this is coming from is from a religious point of view. And that's
Absolutely.
what gay marriage was a huge part. Once like the AIDS thing kind of started to die down, it all became during the Obama years, it was all about gay marriage or like the George W. Bush years.
Yeah.
And then Obama became president and then it became like they just legalized it and then nobody cared anymore. Nobody talks about gay
Yeah, I
marriage
think
or
people
No,
still
because
care.
the new thing they've moved on to is
Right.
vilifying and hating and
Right.
legislating against trans people.
yes. Yes.
Right? There's always a queer boogeyman to hate.
Trans is the new AIDS.
Yeah, sometimes it's immigrants, but you know,
Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
Yeah. Or
Sometimes.
immigrants. Yeah. For sure.
Can I just go ahead? Sorry. I thought
Sorry,
we
I
were-
still
No, now I
think-
want to know what you were about to say.
I just don't
it
think
was
it's a
not
majority.
related.
Oh, okay.
whoever
Sorry,
would like
Jeff.
to go.
Sorry, Jeff.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I just don't think like it's the majority of the country. It's what the media and what certain powerful people like to put into the zeitgeist to like get people to divide it against each other. It's a great weapon.
Are you telling me that media and whatnot influence people?
Yes.
Are you
They
actually
do.
trying to tell me that?
They definitely do.
Unbelievable.
But I think if anything, like the homophobia and it was understated in this episode, like of the time. Now, yeah, I'm coming of age around this era, and and how many times I got called gay and as a insult all the time, like, you know, and it was like, but it was more than that. It was like not just kids my age, it was like adults, it was like everyone, like this insane paranoia and and fervent hatred that was just circulating around, because, you know, it was like how people are now, like trans, I think is probably the closest one I can.
So, like, even you remember Seinfeld, guys? Everybody loves Seinfeld, you know.
I don't.
The whole 1993 was the outing episode.
Right. Not that there's anything wrong with that, and all that.
Well, we had Ellen DeGeneres go out as well, and whatnot.
That was a couple years later. Like even when Roseanne did that kiss, remember, with the woman on, that was a huge deal. Like, you know, because it was like there was a lot of like.
And Roseanne was a very progressive show at its time, so it's.
But there was also movies like Philadelphia. There was lots of movies winning awards. It was, you know, in the zeitgeist as well.
Yeah, really but they were about gay people fucking dying and getting killed and fridged and like. For sure.
Yeah, go watch Philadelphia, right, and see like how Denzel Washington's character reacts to Tom Hanks' character. You know, he agrees to represent him, but he's like, I don't agree with you, and you know, all these kind of things, right? Ben, back at Happy Valley Base, like Danielle talking to Tyler about this, and that, you know, she, like, I guess, you know, her dealing with the political ramifications, what it means for the mission, and everything we talked about here, and you know, that she didn't know, and Tyler trying to talk about this. Danielle more annoyed that he chose this moment, like, not that she's annoyed like in the same way I guess Deke was when Ellen tried to talk to Deke about it, but it's kind of a it's got some similarities, I guess. That this is inconvenient, you know.
This was a nothing burger of a conversation, though. Like, it literally.
You think so? I thought it was a fantastic scene.
I didn't really find it all that interesting because of the fact that literally she's repeating herself over and over again through this thing, and she's like, I should have known about this. I'm the commander. I should have known about this. This was a bad idea. You've really jeopardized things. Blah 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 blah. You know, and it's like, well, why don't you have some fucking sympathy? Like, the dude's just come out to the world, and she makes like she's sympathetic, but she really isn't. Like, I didn't get that anyway. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just jaded.
She was more worried about the mission. She's the leader. She's the controller of this mission.
I get that, but this is also somebody who's serving under her. Yes, has made things inconvenient for her, but, you know, so some support.
I definitely think she took the wrong approach, but
absolutely.
I thought this was a really meaningful conversation between these two characters. She reacted really poorly, especially for somebody who should be able to understand how othered he feels and how important it was to him to stop having to keep this secret. You know?
Well, I think for her, she's not necessarily making that connection. It's like she is in a sense, she's only getting halfway there, right? I guess is kind of how it feels. Yeah. Like, you know, she's somewhat sympathetic, understands, but she thinks that like her situation is the same as his, and it's not. There's differences. There are, you know, and part, like, you know, she's like, I'm a black woman, you're a gay black man, so they do have some commonalities there, but there's also a distinction. There's a difference, and
and there was still racial issues, obviously, in the 90s, but you know, it's
and there aren't any now, so
good thing we cured those.
They're gone.
That's fine. And I'm not trying to imply that, but what I'm saying is that it's just, to me, the writing in this particular scene, I didn't enjoy at all. I didn't think this is how that character should be reacting to this. Like, I've known this character for a while now. This is not how I would have perceived her to deal with this issue.
I think the problem is she has no control over the situation. She's got
no control over anything right now.
But that's why I think she's acting this way. Like, I think that's what explains it to me.
Yeah, okay.
You know, like, that's how what I got out of it. She could not control the mission, and in this instance, she's kind of like projecting onto Tyler her basically, like, I feel like she's just kind of unsure of herself, of how to go about
I think
this.
it's important to note, like, if they don't find water and if they don't get the CO2 scrubbers fixed and if they don't fix the thermostat, they're all going to die here. So they do have some other priorities, but I think that's part of the thing. I do agree with her in this conversation, but on the other hand, she's kind of missing the point of the whole thing.
But I mean, he can still go carry out his orders and the mission critical stuff. Like, he already said he was gay. It's over. It's done. Like, he's not working on being gay anymore.
Exactly. So why did we have to have this?
He actually did nothing to jeopardize the mission whatsoever.
Right.
Not even a bit.
True. And if any people shouldn't be affected, it's these people here on Mars, but we'll find out that's not quite the case. Anyway, so then Tyler goes off to do his duties after getting kind of get a talking to here from Danielle in the cone of silence, I guess. We see the rest of the crew just kind of staring, leering at Tyler as he leaves, leering at Danielle. Even as Tyler walks by, two of the cosmonauts, them like kind of looking at him, and so kind of just this kind of uncomfortable feeling, I guess, projected here. At Helios, then we see that the Russian Soviet space people, they've come here. Lenara has come to meet with
and I
Dev
love this scene.
and Karen. They bring her in. Karen knows her from the Helios, the Polaris days, we're told. And so basically the Soviets have found this massive reservoir lake, basically, of water under the surface of Mars. They haven't shared this.
How would they do that?
I don't know.
They didn't explain this. Like, they do it from space.
Space magic.
I'll just leave it there. So we don't know.
We don't know. They
don't
have this
know.
intelligence, and NASA doesn't have it, and Helios doesn't have it. So they're saying but they need Helios' help to drill for it. They don't have the equipment necessary to drill, so the Helios does. So they need a deal. And Karen, this is where Karen.
What we see in this show a lot, though, is the fact that they're showing us that the Russians seem to always be ahead, even though they don't look like they are, but they are. So it's like,
Well, it's because they get everything from Margot. That's why.
well, maybe.
Anyway, so they said, well, if you want, basically, they just want to pay Helios a fee to drill for the water, and then they get to keep the water. And Helios is like, no.
I thought it was very funny when she just laughed out loud when Karen said 50%.
I loved her reaction.
Is it like because you don't understand capitalism here, or
Right. And Karen plays hardball negotiator here. I guess, but I think
It wasn't really hardball. She literally has all the cards.
Love this shot of Karen. What a bad bitch. I love this outfit. I love this pose. I love the expression.
I'm not a fan of Karen by any stretch of the
staring
imagination.
her down. And it goes back to, she came back to Helios. She negotiated the position she wanted, the office she wanted, the compensation she wanted with Deb. And then she came in here and was like, we want 50% of your water. Right? Just like, that's it. That's the end of that. She's gorgeous. I love her. Step on me, mommy. Love it.
That's what Danny says too.
She had all the cards. All the cards. She could ask for 60% and would have got it.
Right.
Things that both Heather and Danny would say.
Yes.
This is big. Anyway, so basically a new partnership's formed here with Helios and the Russians. Meanwhile, back on Mars, Danielle tries to ask Kuznetsov, like, what's going on with you and Helios? You guys doing a mission? And he's like, I will not tell you. She's like, we saved your lives out there in space. She's like, now you own us? Now you control us forever? I know Kevin's not a fan of this man or his.
I'm not a fan of Danielle in this episode.
No, she's terrible in this episode.
Yes, she's like practically begging him for his approval.
She is losing her shit all the time in this episode.
I think it's like the look that Kucherov is giving her all the time. It's like he's challenging her, and she's not like stepping up to the plate and knocking the ball out of the park. She's like, she's getting struck out.
Yeah,
she's
like
pulling
he's like
Yankees.
Yeah, she's I guess like maybe like how she won over the other Soviet guy in 1983. She's trying a similar approach, but it's not working with this guy. He's a different person, and he's got a different approach here, and so she has to kind of figure out what that means. Then we got Kelly here talking to Ed, where he's up on thing, and then he can't talk about the water mission with the Russians because he signed an NDA, and she's not too happy about that. But she mentions that their CO2 scrubbers are malfunctioning or not doing well on the NASA base, and Ed knows that's a big problem, so he's deciding to come down and help about it. Meanwhile, Tyler is trying to fix some of the environmental systems here at the base on Mars, working with Defector Dog, and Defector Dog is helping hold the flashlight. But then, at one point, Tyler asks him to hold it here, and he acts all weird about it.
He won't touch it where Tyler had it in his mouth.
Yeah,
This is
I
just,
don't want the AIDS.
is it do I think a man in the 1990s could have acted like this? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
They did.
Even Mr. Smart cosmonaut astronaut guy, he's feeling, I don't know what he's feeling, but it's
uncomfortable, Dave. He's feeling uncomfortable.
and he's not telling Tyler directly. He's just kind of making up excuses and kind of passive aggressive things to whatever here. But he has I have to go, and
You Americans
Tyler's
always taking the shortcuts.
Maybe
You
he's
Americans
just
taking
confused in
shortcuts.
his feelings.
Yeah, maybe he needs counseling. But Tyler's starting to detect something's different with the whole situation with them. Meanwhile, we see Defector Dog goes right to Danielle and says he doesn't like having to share air and water and different things with Tyler. Basically, he's worried about AIDS and things like that, and and Danielle basically just
AIDS being an airborne disease and all.
right. She's like, we were all tested for HIV before we took off. He's like, 2 weeks before the launch. What happens if he went out and got AIDS in those 2 weeks? Come on. Anyway, so she sends him away. That Defector Dog, you may have to defect back to the Soviets at this rate. Anyway, then on Mars,
They don't want him. He's got AIDS now.
True.
Mars has AIDS. Time to get off.
Anyway, then we got Danny here on Mars. I guess he's stoned on the painkillers. Is that what this scene is?
Totally.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing about this scene, and for some strange reason, and that's why I asked you guys earlier about what his wife's name is, because you see in this shot, he looks at his wife's picture with his baby, and the song that they're playing is Silence of Mary, I think, which is done by Macy Starr, I think. What is it? Maisie Starr. Yeah, Mary of Silence. That's it. Okay. So I wrote it down because I was like, oh, lyrics are interesting. But it to me, if her name is Mary, this would have been way better. But still, I think it really does show you what kind of crazy ass loop this dude's going through. He's certifiable. He shouldn't be here.
Can we blame Karen for all of this? Or
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Well, I think it's a combination of a bunch of things. Karen being part of it, but his parents burning up on Mars might not have been a good idea either. But
they were perfect parents before they died.
Or sorry, on the moon.
I don't think that was the issue.
No. He's not sitting watching videos of his parents. He's sitting watching videos of Karen and Ed. Yes, right. It's Karen's fault.
Well, it's also Danny. It's also the way he is.
Sure,
Yeah, It's
not Nazis now.
How does he have access to the medical cabinet?
Unclear.
That's good.
He's second in command.
He's
right?
He's got.
He is second in command on Helios.
He scared the young fella into giving him the hacking password for whatever he wants to get into.
Yeah,
all he had to do was look under the keyboard and find it. It wasn't.
Yes.
He's taking oxys here from the medical cabinet. He takes something else here.
I didn't catch what the second thing was.
This is dextroamphetamine. So this is what all the housewives used to take to get all hopped up on speed and be skinny in the 70s.
Why do they have all of these?
This is different than Quaaludes, right?
Yes, it's the opposite of Quaaludes. It's amphetamines. This is for going and calming down, and then lorazepam next to it is Ativan in case you just want to relax a little bit, Danny.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I paused it earlier to see what it was because I wanted to know what the second drug he took was.
I think he's paying.
Danny seems to know what these pills are. Then, as he's coming out of the medical cabinet area thing, Ed stops him, and Danny looking kind of guilty, worried he's going to get caught here with the pills. But that's not what Ed wants to talk to him about. Ed wants to talk to him about how Danny blew at him up a bit earlier, and he's like, "You were right, Danny. I am babying you too much."
And here comes the leadership problem again.
Another leadership failing by Ed here. As he's like, Danny, you're a great astronaut. You
At this point, can we just wonder what Ed is good at?
And he says to Ed, or Ed says to him too, like, I know you're supposed to go back to the ship because of the medical protocols, but I'm changing the protocols, so you can stay here.
I'm getting the impression that Ed is gonna fucking Mrs. Robinson him now too. Like, what is happening?
Okay, right. Everybody can be creepy with their adopted son.
That's right.
No, this is terrible. Don't do it, Ed.
Don't put it past this show. This show might do that.
This conversation is even weirder to me because later on, like when we see the log there from Ed talking to Karen that Danny's watching, he's like, I don't know if Danny has what it takes to be out here. Then if you don't, if you really think that, then you're keeping him on active duty.
Why are you keeping him there?
Yeah, like it makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Well, the other thing I was thinking with this scene is that Danny's taking a bunch of drugs. He's stealing drugs from the infirmary. He's stealing uppers and downers. Surely he knows the difference. He's headed for, if not overdose, something real bad. And then Ed tells him he's going to keep him on the ship. And maybe I'm reading into it with my own ideas, but it seems to me like Danny is like, oh fuck, because if he had gotten sent back up to the Phoenix, maybe shit wouldn't get bad.
Oh yes, it would.
What I mean?
He'd stew up there and get even worse.
Dude's a train wreck.
Yeah, I don't know if it matters where he is. Like he needs a psychiatrist is what he needs, but they don't have one.
They should have left him on the Soviet ship. That's what.
Well, he's got handfuls of pills. That's just as good as a psychiatrist. Yeah. Let's go, Nepo baby.
Hopefully he can figure it out. Speaking of Nepo babies, let's go check out on Kelly Baldwin.
What's she doing in the swamp?
Swamp. Well, swamp.
Stupid
getting swampy in the swamp.
Swamp thing, if you will. They're knocking boots, if you will, here on the Mars.
Can I just say, I really hate the trope of smacking each other onto stuff and tearing your clothes off. Like, come on, you can take 3 seconds to actually take your clothes off, especially in a space
I'm in a
station.
hurry.
Bitch, no.
Yeah,
I'm in a hurry. I will throw things around.
On the space station. And then, do you think they can hear us? Of course they can hear you. I thought it was such a cute bit that they cut to the other 2 people outside who just share a look and an eye roll and go back to their
with
work.
the banging against the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, they turn on
anybody.
The air conditioner here or whatever it is, the fan, and we just see the cosmonauts are like, yeah, we know what's going on.
I think these 2 are banging too.
Maybe.
Everybody gets a turn in the swamp.
Then afterwards, in the afterglow, if you will, I still don't know this guy's name, but Kelly's boyfriend.
It doesn't matter.
Alexi. Is he another Lexi?
Yes.
Okay.
Popular name.
He's like, I can't talk about the mission. Oh, yeah, and then they're also talking about her father. He's like, I'm excited to meet your father. She's like, don't tell him you know me. Don't tell him. He'll kill you.
This is another freaking this whole speech about Ed wanting to honest to God.
All the dialogue that Kelly says in this episode.
The Kelly writer, whoever writes for her, not good. Not good.
Is it the writer or is it the actor? I don't know.
Maybe you know what? Maybe you're right.
I'm finding Kelly so unlikable all the time. So I don't know.
No, but it just perceives Ed. It puts Ed as just a buffoon.
He is.
He is though, yeah.
He's objectively a bit of a buffoon. Anyway, but then what really gets Kelly mad is that Sergey or Alexei, he won't talk about the water mission with Helios. So she's like, "Good, you don't trust me," and she got really mad at her. As here comes Ed. Ed is flying down to the base.
He's like the Amazon guy here.
I was like, what are you, the Uber Eats driver now? You bring in the food.
Well, he kind of is. Yeah.
Yeah. Special delivery. Knock, knock. And they let him in for the party. as Mr. Ed comes in here in his pretty tough-looking suit. Says hi to Bob. Hi, Bob. Hi, Bob. And he goes, and then Kuznetsov's like, "You are Bob?" And he's like, "No, that's our inside joke. You need to have been there." Then we get the Kelly Ed reunion that comes.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
Mhm.
Comes next here. And Ed has brought snacks and CO2 scrubbers and all kinds of goodies. Some fine dining, better than the normal NASA and Russian rations, I guess. What else we got here? Chocolate molten lava cake, Christmas apple pie, chicken
Potato
satay,
chips, lamb with mint. You got it all.
lamb with mint.
I
all
like how
kinds
they
of
had to
things.
have the product placement in there, though, just in case.
Dried
Satay
mango.
is misspelled.
Yeah.
Is it
Well,
really?
Yeah, it should be Satay.
Chicken sate. And apricot coconut macaroons. Come on, like this is some good stuff. So they're all
Did
having.
you notice that the cutlery has the Helios logo on it?
No,
Yeah, well, they're following Starfleet's lead.
it's a nice touch.
Anyway, so then they're all having a little vodka shot here. The three commanders, Ed,
Oh,
Kuznetsov.
coming back to uniforms again, I completely agree with you, Dave. I cannot stand Danielle's.
I hate it. I'd rather
They're
have the
so ugly.
I'd rather have the Soviet one, which is not much of a uniform, but it's.
I honestly don't get it. It's a fucking shirt. It's just a shirt. Like, what the fuck?
It's
this
an
is
ugly
4
shirt.
episodes now about this fucking shirt. It's
It will never
Because
stop.
It's ugly, Kevin.
It's
Also,
coming.
Danielle's shirt looks like the 90s. Baldwin's shirt does not look like the 90s.
It looks more like the 2000s. I agree.
Yeah.
But it's a whole thing. He was ahead of his time.
Helios is ahead of their time.
Right.
Yeah, they have rovers that move or habs that move.
Anyway, so things are going well. Here, the three commanders having a little toast.
As soon as you break out the booze, it's going to go offside.
You know this is
Yep.
gonna get bad. Yeah, this
That's
is
right.
the best vodka in all of Soviet Union, or something like that. Then we get the scene here between Ed and Alexei, the one banging Kelly, and Alexei tries his best to I don't know, act coy. He's like, "Oh, girl, I like her very much. She's nice." He's like, "You haven't even learned my daughter's name here." Friggin' Russians. And so I don't know. I kind of buy that Ed would do that. But I guess that went okay from Kelly's standpoint. Meaning the dad, I guess. Then we get Tyler's interview here. Yeah, it's President Wilson watching that here.
President sellout.
President sellout. She's got one tear coming down.
Look at that.
Yeah.
She's got one tear, and then she's about to enact "Don't Ask, Don't
Can't
Tell."
even
Which-
give me 2
We're
tears.
kicking you out. The gays don't claim you anymore. No more pussy for you. You're done.
I
Shut
I
it
have
down.
a bigger problem with Larry. I think Larry
Yeah.
is the catalyst in all of this. Right from the beginning, every time she wants to do the right thing, Larry is there
He's a
to make
manipulator.
her do something else so he can continue on with his life the way he wants it.
Right. He's
Not
kind of the
only
devil on
that,
her shoulder.
not only that, he likes power.
Uh-huh.
You know, like
more than
ever
she
since-
does.
More than she does. Yeah, you can tell. Like with every decision, everything is not just about like his life. It's more about like power. It's about getting to be important, making decisions. You know, all these things. Like where I find Ellen is like, she's doing it because she's good at it. Like she's like, I'm good at this, and people like me, and like people respect me now. And
But they don't even know who she is. She's been hiding it the whole time.
True.
Right, correct. But like Larry, he doesn't care to hide. Like he's fine if he hides. For him, it's not. He doesn't. It's not. His personal life shouldn't matter to anybody. You know, it's kind of the way I think Larry looks at it. Whereas Ellen does not look at it that way. I think her hiding it bothers her a lot.
Yeah.
You know. So
Well, and she was always more of a
Not
public
enough
figure.
to do something about it.
Like
but, you know.
going back
Right.
to when she was an astronaut, and Larry's never been as much of a public figure, so he can afford. He doesn't have the scrutiny, I guess. Is
He was just a junior engineer.
Yeah, and then he went into the private sector, and then he went into politics and all that. But like,
what I'm trying to say is, if Larry was the president, if the roles were reversed here, and he was the president and she was the first lady, she could go off and she would still hide it. But Larry would have no problem hiding it. It wouldn't bother him. I don't think so, personally.
Larry shows zero compassion for Will Tyler at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Zero.
That's right.
0?
Zero.
He seems a little sad about it, but I don't know. He's
That's
like,
performative.
performative. Yeah.
That's all part of the manipulation, Dave.
Well, you might be right. And then back at NASA, we got a scene here with Margot and Sergey. That's right.
Oh God, yes.
Where I guess he's trying to return the favor to Margot, give her information about what the Soviets are up to with Helios.
Well, he comes in with our list of what they need first, though.
Yeah, he's like, oh, we need stuff for our mission, but then he's like, he has this whole ruse here with the record player and getting the record player out for Margot. He's got to play her a song, and then he knocks her drink over, and then he like basically writes something on the record, a message to her while she's out of the room, so that I guess his Soviet like handler won't notice any of this.
Is there someone else in the room with them?
No, though. It's like, it's weird that he does this. He could have just slipped her a note.
I mean, maybe he just thinks the KGB is always watching.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, he was beaten within an inch of his life and sent to the gulag and threatened his family and everything. Like, I'd be careful too in his case.
We see that it's an equation. It's not even as much of like a note at what it is, but it's like more of a encrypted message. But I also want to point out that they say that the best song on this album is the last song on the B-side. And guess what it's called, guys? Pisces Power.
Like Captain Dave.
That's right. I just wanted you all to know that.
And me too.
And Jody
But he doesn't claim it. So
because it's not real.
Yeah, exactly. He's a closeted Pisces. So
Yes, I'm sure.
Don't ask, don't tell, Jody.
One day I'll come.
Every time Jody's in town, the horoscopes go down.
Yeah, exactly. What happens?
Then Margot tells the NASA guy and Aleda about what Sergey has told her, and Aleda is pissed. Like, these Russians are stealing all her stuff. We gotta tell Danielle. We gotta tell them all. They're a bunch of jerks. They should be out of here. They don't she's over it all, whereas Margot's more willing to accommodate. Kelly. Oh, she's got the iPod going here for the party. That's what this is. Playing the music. They're all having drinks. We hear the story about Ivan the Terrible, who would keep people at the party by saying, if you want to leave, you have to have 10 shots. So that's what they start doing here.
Not the best figure in history to be bringing up.
He goes, Ivan, who was a terrible person.
Also known as Ivan the Impaler.
Yes. While we see Danielle is getting the message here from Aleda. We can't hear what Aleda's saying, but she seems animated.
We can tell what she's saying.
Yeah, she's like, screw these guys.
Well, and Danielle gets the very square jaw that she gets when she's pissed.
Oh yeah, she that's the angry Danielle. And she's like, oh, these jerks, right? Meanwhile, Ed and the
Meanwhile, communism and capitalism are yucking it up over here on the podcast.
Right. I like how she throws that label at Ed, but what is America? They're not capitalist. There's something else. Anyway, so then as the party's going on here, they're all pouring the shots. We see here that at one point Tyler grabs the bottle and just starts chugging it. And Defector Dog does not want a sip anymore.
I want no AIDS vodka.
Yeah. So he says, "Oh no, I don't want to." And he's like, "Now I know something's up. No Russian has ever turned down a shot of vodka."
He's right though.
And then there's some angry words exchanged between Tyler and Defector Dog here, almost breaking out into a fight between them.
I'm pretty sure Tyler could take him though. That dude's pretty jacked.
And he's much younger and much more in shape. But they actually have to get in break up this fight here. Just then Danielle starts unleashing on both of them, and then she yells because the Russian commander starts chuckling at her, and she doesn't like it. She's got that clenched jaw that Adam was referring to here. And he's like, she's not happy that they've been left out of the loop on this water discovery. But like this whole thing was just about like who got to Mars first and who got to land first and bragging rights and all that.
Now
So
it's who gets water first.
I'm not really surprised that they're still being competitive with each other, like the three groups, even after that the landing's done. But Kelly in particular lands to this news about the water discovery, and that her father didn't tell her.
He works for a private company,
right?
Not the government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's feeling a little guilty, I think, about it.
He looks like a guilty little boy when she calls him out on it. Like his body language immediately changes, and like Ed may be a dickhead, but he definitely doesn't want to disappoint Danny.
He has a conscience. It's just a little gray sometimes.
Yeah, well, he's kind of got conflicted loyalties here. Anyway, so Danielle is just giving him shit as we kind of pan away from the scene.
Wait a minute. Conflicted loyalties. First of all, he should have no loyalty to Helios at all, or the Russians. Ed?
Yeah.
Why would he have any loyalty to Helios?
It works for them.
They send him to Mars?
Yeah,
They
but they
took away
also
his
cut
ship.
off his computer access. I agree.
took away his-
They still got him there.
Doesn't matter. Helios is dead to him at that point.
So what? You think he should be like a pirate now or something?
Yes. Yes.
Ed the Mars pirate.
Okay, well, maybe he'll think about that.
That would be cooler.
They literally
would be
cannot control
pirate?
anything on that ship anymore. So if Ed says, no, we're not going to get that fucking water, well, guess what we're not doing?
In the water.
But he won't do it.
Well, we get this conversation here with Kelly and Ed where he's apologized about his NDA, but really Kelly says this is a bigger deal. This discovery of water could mean life here on Mars. And this kind of correlates to what's happening right now in our timeline here in 2025, where they have recently discovered possibly evidence that life existed at one time on Mars, and that it's still yet to be confirmed. But this has been a concern about sending a mission to Mars, is that, you could potentially, if there is still life there, you could kill it, just by being present.
Or you could bring it back.
Or you could bring it back and it could kill us. There are those concerns here, right? But, Ed's not buying. He's like, nothing could live here on Mars. And she's like, well, no one thought anything could live in Antarctica, but far beneath the surface, far beneath the sun. But it does. Yeah. He's like, that's not the same, but fine. You win. I'll allow.
Well, one of them is a little bit more qualified to discuss this than the other one.
Yeah.
Which one?
Her?
I think Kelly.
Yeah, she knows her stuff with this stuff. Yes,
she does.
But Ed's going to talk to Helios and see if he can get her involved in the mission. We come back to Danny Stevens watching more of the video messages here from Ed to Karen, and just then he's like, I don't know if Danny has what it takes. This guy, he's frazzled here. Danny does not take well to hearing this.
And he's like, I'm gonna get high on Oxycontin. I'm coming for you.
After I punch my screen 3 times.
Yeah, he punches.
He is already high on Oxycontin. I really liked the detail that his pupils are very big. Like he looks high in this scene, I find. And the resemblance, I don't know if it's like how he's holding his face or how they have him lit or just like the excellent casting they did, but he looks so much like Gordo in this scene.
I know.
Oh, it's casting for sure.
We've talked about that a few times, like more than even this season than the previous season, right?
Yeah.
It's the same actor, but yeah, you're getting that Gordo vibe all the time. You buy he's his son.
Yeah, but Gordo was never dangerous.
No.
Aside from that one episode when he wanted to take his,
take his helmet off, but that was dangerous to himself.
That was just to himself. That's right.
Whereas Annie is more self-destructive, but also kind of more malevolent and more, and obsessed.
Well, he's angry, just so much rage, like just punching the screen. It's very clear
point,
he is not headed.
I don't know how this is going to go, guys, but I don't feel like Danny's coming back.
Oh, we'll see.
I don't know if there's a redemption arc for him. No.
At the White House, after this is where President Wilson gives her "don't ask, don't tell" policy that she's implementing. Basically says they're selling out Tyler because he's an active member of the military. So Major Tyler will be dishonorably discharged upon return to Earth.
She just said discharged, and she said that he served his country with honor and distinction.
With honor and distinction, that's right.
But
Which should be an honorable
honestly,
discharge, technically.
the first time I watched this, I did think that she was going to stop after discussing Tyler and saying he served his country with honor and distinction and just come out with it and just come out.
And come
and
out.
It never,
her come out.
Yeah, I really, really thought that might happen, but no way. And on my second viewing here today, I realized like that's not what's going on with Ellen at all.
No. Anyway, so
she's on my list now. She was off my
Oh.
list before with Margot, but now she's on the list.
Then back on Mars, Tyler. Is this Tyler, right? We're seeing here.
Yeah.
He's heading outside.
So
this-
I was absolutely certain he was going to kill himself. I was absolutely certain when I saw this. I don't know if anybody else did, but I'm like, maybe he's just going to off himself. Like
take his helmet off or something.
Yeah. I didn't see that happen, but
I'm not entirely sure what Tyler was feeling in this scene. Or,
He explains it earlier, guys. He's this whole. What's the name of this episode?
New
Yeah,
Eden.
Eden.
Yeah, he explains it that look, when he gets to this location, it's a flat desert, just like before God created Eden. That maybe there's a chance to build a new world with new values and new morals.
Yeah.
That's what the whole point of the episode. And he's the conscience. He's the only character with the conscience in the episode, and so that's why I think they make a point of showing him here in this desert. Thinking,
I'm
about
glad
that.
it didn't off himself, but I was kind of
Still
expecting
dreaming
something
of
like
this new Eden, this new world with new possibilities. That's what I read from.
That
it
makes
as well.
sense. Thanks. Good thing Jeff was here to explain that.
Thanks, Jeff.
And then the final scene here in the bar in Washington, D.C. We see this one guy, a reporter in a suit, having a martini.
I totally know that actor too, and I don't know why.
Yeah. Then we also see this guy, and he looks familiar because he was the aide we saw earlier giving the papers to Larry Wilson in the Oval Office. And, and I get the impression that the reporter is also gay.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is. He's a messy queen, fucking gossiping over martinis. You don't tell anybody that shit because it's gonna get talked about.
Right. And we see they're watching the press conference of President Wilson to the Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And then, he asks his friend here, how many times have you done it with Larry Wilson in the Oval Office? And he's like, I never should have told you that. Don't let anyone hear this. And he's like, in Washington, everyone's listening. He's like,
But he doesn't take his own advice.
He doesn't take his own advice because he's like, yeah, we did it once in the Oval Office. And then there's like this jubilant celebration from the reporter. Not because he's happy necessarily about that.
He's
Maybe
like,
he is.
ha, I got you, and
But
a
yes.
martini.
He got his scoop is what he got, right? So as he heads out here, heads right into his like car, a taxi or whatever, and gets on the cell phone and is spilling the tea about what's going on with Larry Wilson. And
Dave, that was excellent use of gay vernacular. Well done.
thank you. I'm trying. So we then get the shot of Washington, and that is our final kind of clip of the episode. Sorry, guys. I know that took me a while to rip through, but there was a lot of good stuff, a lot of good moments in this. Adam, can you give us the fun facts of it all?
Okay, well, it's not so fun, but let's just get through
Or the
this because-
facts. They don't have to be fun.
So how this all happened, the Don't Ask, Don't Tell, basically, and when Clinton was running for office in 92, he promised to allow citizens who serve in the military, to allow all citizens to serve in the military regarding of sexual orientation. So prior to that, there was a rule saying if you're gay and we find out, we're going to investigate, you're going to be kicked out with dishonorable discharge. So what does that mean? No pension, no benefits, nothing. You're done.
Yeah, you get nothing.
Regardless of how you serve the country. So in 94, in 93, they came up with this compromise at the time. And like I remember this being pretty controversial because you had so many military guys coming out and saying, this is outrageous. We shower together and they're going to look at us weird and all this nonsense.
Yeah, nobody's looking at you, Craig. Calm the fuck down.
Right. So from February 28th, 1994 till, get this, September 20th, 2011. So this went right into Obama's term. This was the policy. The policy prohibited military personnel from discriminating against or harassing closeted homosexual or bisexual service members or applicants, while barring openly gay, lesbian, or bisexual persons for military service. So you could apply, you could get through that, you could be a service person with
As long as
just
you
don't
kept
say it.
quiet.
Just kept quiet.
That's sad.
Crazy. Yeah. So
Is it-
that went on. The policy prohibited, the relaxation. So the policy prohibited people who demonstrate a propensity to intent to engage in homosexual acts from serving in the armed forces because of their presence would create an unacceptable risk to the high standards of morale, good order, and discipline, and unit cohesion. So the act also prohibited any non-heterosexual person from disclosing their sexual orientation, non-heterosexual. So if you were straight, you could, hey, yeah, I'm straight.
You could scream that to the mountaintop, if you
Right.
wanted.
Mhm.
Hold on. The act specified that service members who disclose that they are homosexual or engage in homosexual conduct should be separated, discharged, except when the service member's conduct was for the purpose of avoiding or terminating military service. That would not be in the best interest of the armed forces. Since the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy ended in 2011, people who are openly gay have been able to serve, no problem at all. And guess what? Everything's fine.
Yeah,
Life went on.
they didn't ban the trans people this year.
Yeah. Well, it's not even. Is that even a topic? I don't even.
No, is that it is.
But like the Rush Limbaughs at the time, and everybody freaking out, and the politicians who were on the moral majority crap, and the Republican, everything's fine. The military went on; they still serve, they still defend. Life is good.
Donald Trump is president right now. He doesn't
Well,
seem
that's
to
a
care.
problem.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to care about that though. Which is
I
weird.
was reading some of the articles, like the Wikipedia article and some different things about it, and I don't recall who said this, but somebody controversially in favor of it said you don't have to be straight to shoot straight. So,
I
gays
think I
can
heard that once.
people just as well as the straights.
I remember that. Yeah. Do I have to be straight to pull a trigger?
No.
No.
There's a lot of downtime in the military too. So like, if you're gonna hang out with people, I'd rather hang out with people that are fun.
That's what the Spartans said.
Yeah, that is true.
So, just now moving on to some actually facts or fun facts. This episode takes place in November 1994, so it was close to Thanksgiving, which tied into the Thanksgiving theme.
Oh, okay. So it's still 94?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why it tied in nicely to Don't Ask, Don't Tell, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, because that would have been around.
Is he frozen?
Yes, but
I believe so.
the swamp was the same name as Hawkeye and BJ's tent in
Love that show.
in MASH.
One of my favorite shows.
Oh,
I got one for you here, Adam.
Yeah, please go.
So when the astronauts and the cosmonauts are walking on Mars, from their ship to the habitats there, because the gravity is 37% of Earth gravity, they should be like bouncing. Not quite like they would on the moon, but they shouldn't be walking like just kind of normal steps.
Well, exactly. I saw that too.
It's all those bags they're holding.
Let's get into
it's
ratings.
because they're straight. They don't know how to sashay on Mars.
Indeed.
Yes, you got to have some swagger there, everyone. If you're going to walk on Mars. Okay, let's get into the ratings of our episode and give a score here. Jeff, can we catch up with you first on last week's episode, 7 Minutes of Terror?
What happened in that episode? I haven't seen it.
It
Been a
was
while.
scary. There were...
It was the landing. The landing.
It was all
on-
about the landing.
Oh, the landing episode. Oh, that was like an 8. I remember that episode. Yeah.
All right. And this episode tonight.
Give it like an 8.5.
All right. Heather, you're up next.
It's an 8 for me.
All right, an 8 from Heather. Kevin?
6.
All right.
Ooh, the lowest rating of the season from Kevin.
Yeah, I think this was about a 7 for me. Like, it was good, but it was I think it's setting up more stuff than it's actually executing on. So, but it's good. Adam.
Okay, so I have some strong feelings about this episode because I'm feeling like we're going back to season 2 theme and how they wrote. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I really don't want any more bloody Karen and freaking Danny drama, but we're going to get Psycho Danny, so that might be interesting. But
Try to embrace it is all I can recommend.
Yeah.
I only want Danny if he's going to go full tilt red rum crazy.
all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go with a 6. I'm with Kevin. This was a
All right, Jody.
I think I'm around a 6.5.
Okay. Now we're averaging a 7 out of 10 on IMDb.
7.
IMDb is
7.
also 7 out of 10. So funny how we tend to follow that model. So we're averaging a 7 in total here. So the lowest rating of the season, average wise, a good point or so. So I don't know. Maybe this was just one of those more less exciting episodes for us, but
they can't be all exciting, but they could have done so much more. Like, the whole water thing would have been more interesting if they got more into it.
mm-hmm.
Everybody's fighting right now. It's just
Everyone,
chaos.
can't they just get along? Can't they sing "We Are the World"? We are the children.
I think the thing is with these shows is they are soap operas. At the end of the
course
day, that's what they are. And as much as they're not Star Trek, and Star Trek was the soap opera too. But
Jeff, we just had 4.5 fantastic episodes. They were great.
right. But what they always do on these shows is this. They always have an episode like this, or like multiple episodes where it's all about these characters and their emotions. And as much as the space stuff should almost be enough, like it really should, because it's so in like much detail and depth that you can go into. But I thought this show doesn't do that. Like it has its moments where you have to kind of just watch Psycho Danny punch a monitor. You have to watch Ellen cry about not, coming out to the world. And like, you have to watch these scenes because they define who they are as people. And then like, why, because the show's about the people. It's kind of like Lost too. Like all these shows, they're always about the people, not what they're winning.
Star Trek is also very much about its characters too, right? Like maybe less about the depending on what version of Star Trek we're talking about. But like we're talking about Deep Space Nine, for instance. Like everyone's getting married and hook up and whatever. Right. So it's a little bit closer to that. This is Ronald D. Moore, his version of what Star Trek's like.
I don't like. Okay, I'll just leave it. Leave it there.
Okay, I will leave it there. I don't mean to upset you, Adam.
I'm not upset. I'm not upset.
Adam's getting heated. We have to stop the podcast. He's too upset.
Well, let's look ahead to the next episode, season 3, episode 7. It's called "Bring It Down."
Uh-oh. Look at him.
No, look at that.
Does that excite you, Adam?
Yeah. Listen. I'm all for Psycho Danny. And
right, well,
it reinforces my hatred for the Stevens. Like it just
you may get your wish. We'll see. Okay, so check it out. We'll be back next Monday to talk about that. Also,
I kind of do feel bad for Karen because yes, I think she is responsible. She's the adult. She should have known better. However, this is spun way beyond what
Karen reserves no room in her head for Danny when Daddy's not like right in front of her. So or Ed's talking about him to her. But yes. Good on for Karen. Okay, well, looking ahead to the next episode, Bring It Down. And then we also cover Star Trek The Next Generation on this channel every, Thursdays, sometimes Tuesdays. We're going to have a bit of a moving around schedule moving forward. But this Thursday, we'll be back for our next review, Star Trek The Next Generation's 4th episode of the 3rd season, Who Watches the Watchers. I will not be there, but Chris Worldby Murphy will be hosting, along with, he'll have Adam and Heather and Ashley, I believe, all on the panel this Thursday night. So look out for that. While Jody, Kevin, and I go curling and try to win glory.
Yeah.
Thanks for laughing, Jeff. I appreciate it.
He's like that Russian commander. We should throw him out the airlock.
Wait.
Do not talk to my crew.
What are you talking?
Also, every Wednesday over on our sister channel, Super Mater Brothers Podcasting, we've been covering the new season of Survivor. Check that out this Wednesday night. It will be episode 3 called Lovable Losers. And that could be a lot of fun. All right. Well, with that said, we'll sign off for tonight. Thanks to the whole panel. Thanks to all the live viewers and everyone afterwards. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time for another episode of For All Mankind. Have a great night and live long and podcast, everyone. Stay true to yourself.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And take a peek into the darkness with Heard Noise, Must Investigate with Michael Chan. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.